Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Apollo. I'm the founder of Four Direction. Today, I'm hosting a guest, a presidential candidate from the Republic of South Sudan, Bol Gai Deng, from South Sudan. And also, we are going to talk about leadership and the future of the country and the vision that he has for South Sudan. Welcome, Bol Gai Deng.
Thank you so much, young Mayor Apollo, for having me. You have been such a great young lady and active across the U.S., particularly in DC area, and we are very, very pleased for your work.
Thank you. At the beginning, we want to know about Bol Gai Deng. Who is Bol Gai Deng?
Thank you. Bol Gai Deng is a young boy that grew up in his village in South Sudan, which is Sudan in the back in the day was used to be called Sudan, southern region within northern Barakazal, Awil area. As a young boy, during the war of 1983, there was a war, and that war actually very much destroyed my village and killed the women and children. Our cattle, livestock was stolen by the Islamic militants, and I was also kidnapped at the time. I spent 3 years before actually I managed to escape, being rescued by Christian Solidarity, which is actually we call it Christian Camboni in our language. That is Camboni, Daniel Camboni under Gabriel Zubair Wako. And then I managed to now when I went again to Egypt, from Egypt to the United States, I was actually brought to the United States by the Virginia Council of Churches in Virginia, in DC area. And I became active and involved in the issues of humanitarian in South Sudan before we got independent. We worked very hard by sending food to East Africa. Uganda, I've been there for more than 3 times, delivered the food and medicine. 2012, 2013, also 2018, I've been in Uganda and Kampala, and also I've been in Kenya doing the humanitarian food for more than 3 times, and also in Addis Ababa, which is Ethiopia. I've been active before I became a candidate. Because the war in 2013, I decided to be a presidential candidate to bring the peace to the country because I've been through that. I was suffer, and I don't want the young South Sudan to go through what we went through as a young kids.
That is perfect. I want to go directly to your political party, Kush Democratic Majority Party. What is the vision in your political party? Who are your members? And what do you aim to bring for South Sudanese through your party?
The Quick Democratic Majority Party is a party that based on development to build the South Sudan, to bring the peace to South Sudan, and also to unite the people of South Sudan based on equality and fairness and togetherness. The Quick Democratic Majority Party believe that the strong institution in South Sudan will have a strong nation and a strong citizen. We believe in constitutional government. We believe in a strong institution that will last for generations to come. And we also believe in the basic human right in South Sudan, particularly the food security is our priority. And also the clean water has become now people of South Sudan are dying because in clean water. We also believe that the health system should be instituted to be the strong institution in South Sudan. We believe in healthcare. Also, we believe in infrastructure. We believe in education that it could be provided to the people of South Sudan, been at war for more than 50 years. Now is the time for them, for us to give them a chance for their children to go to school for free. It must be a free education in South Sudan. So we can at least reward the South Sudanese who have suffered, who have fought for too long to gain independence. It's a time for now to give back to the community and for the people of South Sudan, for their children at least to go to school for free, primary, secondary school, and also the college. The government should suppose to also facilitate. They have the South Sudanese young men and women who are seeking college education to at least be free, and government have to facilitate that. That's what we believe in. That was our vision, bring South Sudan as a strong nation and a future country in East Africa and also the entire Africa.
And who are your members?
We have members around across the world, because our South Sudanese in diaspora, they've been engaged, they've been involved with us in diaspora, but we have members in South Sudan at this point. We have members in East Africa, Uganda and Kenya, and Ethiopia, and also we have members in South Sudan right now. And that's why I plan to go to meet them at least this week.
Is your party going to run in the upcoming election? There is 68 political parties that are registered in the country. Wondering if Kush is going to be among them.
We submit our document in May. They've been in the political party council. We submit them. Our team members are working with the political party council. Everything has been submitted. They have been told to go and correct some papers and some document. They return again, they correct some document. They have been corrected. They have been turned in. So we are waiting for the approval, but everything has been turned in right now. We are waiting for the approval, but everything that they need, requirement have been met, and everything is in the political party council.
What are, if you are a presidential candidate, can you name like 3 of your priorities if you were elected?
My priority are very simple, is to make sure that the food security is the #1 priority in my leadership. People of South Sudan have suffered under the food crisis for a long time during the time of war and after we got independent. The young South Sudanese are starving, they go to bed without food, and that is the #1 priority. Our people right now, they are living under the United Nations assistance, and we have to get them out from United Nations assistance, and that's why the food security is #1 priority. And now the second priority, to make sure education, it must be quality education for our young people. So our young people after 4 years, they'll be able to utilize their education skill to help build their nation. That actually is the #2 priority. Another third priority is the clean water. Man, people are sick and are dying because people today, if you go to Juba, people are using tank across the street. People are calling tank to come and give them water from the Nile. I believe we should have manufactured that the again, the healthcare is very important, as I mentioned before. We've got to make sure that our people need to be treated inside South Sudan. Our leaders, South Sudan leaders, have to be treated in South Sudan. We have connection with some international community, community now that are willing to support us with hospital in South Sudan. These are the things that could be very, very important, and we need to bring this hospital to South Sudan. And our challenges we are facing now is that the South Sudan is under sanction list, and there's no way that we can take this hospital opportunity to South Sudan right now. And I believe this election is going to be very important because we'll be able to remove the sanctions. And this opportunity hospital that is supposed to come in now, it will help the people of South Sudan. And let me tell you, it's a worldwide hospital. It has about 60 facilities, 60 facilities, and it could employ 600 South Sudanese citizens, 600,000. And it could actually treat almost 500,000 South Sudanese a month. Think about that. And it is very much professional. The doctor will be trained internationally. It can be trained online. You can work in that hospital in Juba. anywhere in South Sudan. And that's why it's very important to have an election so we can actually sanction can be removed.
You are a former child soldier. You read the book of The Burden of Life, Child Slavery in Sudan, indeed a massacre in 1987. A very important topic. How would you address youth in employment? Because you were a child soldier, and then you also came to the US and get more opportunity. So how would you solve this problem for the youth of South Sudan?
It's kind of our focus is to have the young people of South Sudan. And I mentioned before, we don't want them to go through what they went through, their father went through, their grandfather went through. We want them to have opportunity. We want them to create jobs for them so they can have jobs. So my plan is to make sure that as soon as they graduate, they will have jobs. And we can focus creating jobs and jobs and jobs. And why today we have international team that we are working together to help us to bring economic development to South Sudan. And that economic will be focused by focus on agriculture, bring manufacturers, and also to make sure that not only you do return on the government jobs, you're going to have also other opportunity to use your degree and other fields, not only to have a job in the government. Now you go to South Sudan, everybody's going after government to get a job there. That is not going to happen under the Bol Gai leadership. My leadership is going to bring opportunity. Oil is not even going to be a priority. Oil will be even the number 9 priority. We are not going to think about oil. Now the government we have now, they are focused only on oil. And that oil now is not feeding even is not even giving the soldiers salary. Our job to make sure that let's have a different opportunity, a different way to provide other opportunity, not only oil. So my position, I want to make sure we're going to bring manufacturing to the country. We're going to have investors coming in. Now the investors are not coming into South Sudan because there is insecurity in the country. A lot of companies that are not going to waste their money and their resources for a country where there's a war. That's why the challenge we are facing now to make sure that the security must come to the country. The manufacturing might be brought in. People can work in manufacturers. Our women is going to have a job opportunity. Our young people will have a job opportunity. We're going to have so many jobs in under my leadership, and that's why the young people who are desperate today to run to Europe, they are not going to go to Europe again. They are going to get job in South Sudan.
I think you talk by details about your program in health. I wanted to know further about education and technology. Those are the current industry that's taking over globally. What would be the steps that you will take in
We,
these issues in the country?
yes, we must have energy in the country. Energy is very, very important to have energy that provide a way for technology, electricities, and have strong internet. And we want to make sure that the energy is going to be priority. And now it's not available. If you go to South, if you go right now, people are using generators right now. They've been brought in from Egypt. Now we don't have a dam that can generate the electricity in the country. And that is the challenges. You can have technology in that kind of environment. We're trying to make sure that we're going to have electricity. We're going to have energy that can provide our young people opportunities so they can be able to have opportunity to move ahead with technology. Technology is very important nowadays. Everything is now is technology. Technology advanced. So I want to make sure that our young people must be trained through technology to advance to compete with the world. Otherwise, we are not going to compete. We don't have technology. We don't, so that is the focus on my leadership. We're going to make sure that our young people will grab their hand to this kind internet-wise, social media-wise, and so them to advance. So I think that is very important. And everything now is running through technology. Even the banks, everything now. If you go online, you pay online. You don't have a cash anymore in your hand. So this is dependent on technology, and we need to do that in South Sudan to advance our country forward to compete with other nations in the world.
So you talk about very important about giving women and youth opportunity for jobs. When it comes to decision making, how would you put these people in leadership position? Very importantly.
You know, our women are very important. The talent, knowledge, and what concerning me with the current leadership now, our women, they've been taken advantage of. They are not seeing us uh, have quality to provide leadership to their country. They've been taken advantage of. They're working like servant in this leadership we have in Juba right now. Our women should not be servants, should be leaders, and they need to lead. And they need to be given a mindset that they are leaders as the men as well. And that is not happening right now in South Sudan. My leadership, I want to make sure that the women, they have 50-50 with the men together in the jobs. And also, we're going to put the law and order. We're going to put the rule in an office, an institution, to make sure that there's no harassment of any woman work at that side, at that department. They work there because they are full citizens and they need to perform as the men perform. If you want to take advantage of a lady, of woman, and under my leadership, you are going to be all accountable for your attitude, your action toward the woman, and that now is not happening in South Sudan right now. So I want to make sure that the women have a quality leadership as the man. We're gonna give them job as the man. They can also participate and have that skill as the man and make sure that they will lead South Sudan as the man willing to lead South Sudan. They have to have a dream. No one can live without a dream. You got to have a dream. Now, what you are doing now, Mary, you're doing a great job that not any young man is doing what you are doing right now. And we need to give you credit for that. We need to appreciate you. We need to give you credit. We need to thank you. We need to encourage you to say, keep moving, and we are behind you. That is the leadership. Leadership to encourage the young men and women and to do that job, particularly when the message comes from the elderly to the young people. It will inspire them to move ahead and do more. But now, if you go to South Sudan right now, nobody encourage our young men. Mm-hmm. People are calling the young men, South Sudan young men are lazy. They are very lazy people. How would you describe these young people of South Sudan are lazy? You did not provide opportunity for them after they graduate. A couple of days ago, the young man won that certificate after he graduated from University of Juba. He went and won the certificate after 10 years, never got a job. So he went and won the certificates because he said they are not worth it. That kind of desperate situation, we need to change it to make sure that the young people are valued, the young women are valued, we all values, and the citizens are values. We don't believe that these people, when God created them and put them in that land, nobody's responsible. I don't know who's responsible for that land called South Sudan to put body there. I don't know who's responsible to put Noel there. I don't know who's responsible to put Pajulu there. I don't know who's responsible to put the Denka there. It was God. And that God give these people right. So who is that person want to take the right of these people away and to mistreat these people? That is going to be the subject that we're going to discuss. We can have a reconciliation, we can have a discussion, we can have a community form. And what we've done, the problem the South Sudanese are facing right now, Mary, is that people who are talking about South Sudanese issues right now, they were not elected by the South Sudanese. They were appointed by the SPLM. And wherever they come from different communities. They brought them up and give them to us and say, these are your leaders. And if the same people now create a crisis and pretend that they represent the ethnic group that they come from, which is not true. Because the same SPLM is responsible for them, the same SPLM that now they actually create the war and genocide in the country. And nobody is responsible brought this leader except SPLM brought them. So now we want to make sure that the SPLM just send them back so that people can elect them. And that's why you're seeing them, they call about, we need to have peace, because they know, nobody knows them. They were not known by the communities. The same Salva Kiir maybe Garang brought them up. And now people want to send them back home to be elected. They say, no, we are not going for election. You know why? Because nobody knows them. So now they need to be sent back so you can know them who they are, they can track them and then send them back to Juba. And that's why this election is very important. That's why our leadership want to make sure that we need to have leaders have been elected by the people so they can be responsible to deliver. When the people hold them accountable, did you bring the education that you say you're going to bring to our country, to our community? Did you say you're going to bring the hospital. Did you say you're going to bring the clean water? Now you did not bring the clean water. Next election, they're going to be bought out, and the nation had to move forward. That institution we need to get.
Very also, I have a very important topic about corruption and sanction. And many South Sudanese leaders have been, sanctioned by international NGO. Leaders have been removed from their leadership position to accountability by the president. How would you address these issues under your leadership?
Corruption is a disease, and that's why the nation will never move forward. You cannot have a nation based on corruption. And one of the reasons why corruption is so rapid in South Sudan is because these leaders, they were not elected by the people. They were appointed by one man only. And that's why their responsibility only they are loyal to the man who appointed them. And that's why corruption is very rapid in South Sudan. Under my leadership, who is going to be the elected leadership? If you take the money of South Sudanese, you have been elected, the people that elect you, they will hold you accountable. You will be all accountable by the people that elect you, and now the law is going to deal with you, and you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. You're going to spend time in jail because what you did is actually you forbade not to have hospital for those young people who are going to die because of you. You're gonna push back the education system supposed to be built because of for you causing that issue, not to limit the education. So anything that you did at that time, you will be all accountable, and the people that elect you, it will be us, and they will determine how long this man should go to jail under my leadership. When you come about this so-called this leaders that have been sanctioned, yes, because they were corrupt, that's why they have been sanctioned. And the money that they have now have been frozen in different banks. If you go to Treasury Department here in the United States, a lot of the name of South Sudan, I could say more than 10 to 13 people, their money have been frozen right now here. And around the world too, in East Africa. And our job is to make sure those money, we will release them and ask all the world leaders to return the money back to South Sudan, so we can put those money for the development. And we know their names. We're going to have justice. We're going to have judges that are going to go after this money to be investigated and return them back to people of South Sudan. To come for the sanction. Sanction is a big issue. And people and regime is not talking about the sanction yet because the sanction is the one destroying economic of South Sudan right now. And our job is to make sure that election will remove the sanction. With no election, the sanction will not be removed. Sanction has been for more than 13 years and the war broke out in South Sudan. Is to make sure that election, it will give a reason for the international community to lift the sanction on South Sudanese community and the South Sudanese people and the nation. And that's why election is very, very important. And the people of South Sudan need to decide, do they need to elect the same leadership that made the sanction to exist? Or do they need to see a new faces? That will be decided by the South Sudanese people. Do they need to have the same party, or do they need to have a different faces South Sudanese? Because the different faces, it will actually show the world we here, and South Sudanese elected me. It's a time part to have a discussion to remove the sanction, and sanction will be removed, and South Sudan economy will come back again, and dollar will not eat the South Sudanese power, and our nation will come back for development, and they will move forward.
Perfect. As somebody who live in the United States,
yeah,
you have a huge numbers of the diaspora who are followers and interested in your leadership. How would you engage the diaspora under your leadership?
You see, diaspora are very important. Because you and I were diaspora. We've been in diaspora here. And diaspora leadership is very important to give back to the nations. And diaspora play a big role. Since they come to the United States, to Australia, to UK, to Canada, and Europe. And a lot of these diaspora, they've been sending money home. They've been helping the people of South Sudan they have mothers, they have brothers, they have uncles, they have relatives, and they've been dealing, they've been helping the nation. And we believe that this diaspora not only they can send the money home to South Sudan, they can also bring the skill that they learn to take them back home. Now the diaspora are not going home. And the reason is because the country is under insecurity, at war, and that's why they decide not to go. And the reason also diaspora are not going home, some diaspora they've been trying to go home and take their children to South Sudan to visit uncle, visit cousin. Sometimes the young kids have been taken home, they don't return back to the diaspora. A lot of them get caught up by malaria and kill them. Because malaria is the worst, is a deadly disease. People don't understand malaria. Malaria is the worst disease ever, particularly for the diaspora young kids who never live in that environment. I have more than 3 kids that I know personally who died in South Sudan. They did not make it back home to the United States, neither to Canada, because they died through malaria in the country. If malaria attacks you within a week and there's no credible hospital there, you cannot make it to Kenya, to Nairobi, to the United States, and you die right away. And that's what happened. So the diaspora is very, very scared right now under this leadership now. They are very scared for the disease to right to their children at home. They are also scared for insecurity that now you can go and get killed. You may not make it back to United States, or maybe to Canada, or maybe to Australia. And that's why they're afraid. They want to see a country that's peaceful so they can be able to go and help. And we believe the diaspora hand is going to be very, very important for the development, for the nation building, and to move forward. And that's why we're going to engage them if I become elected.
Perfect. Just everything. How would the whole pictures look like if you become elected and in your leadership vision of peace and economic development?
Well, my leadership will be seen as the peaceful. We will restore the peace in the country. We will focus on security across the nationwide, to focus training the security team that is going to protect the citizen of South Sudan. That is number one. It's going to we're going to do that across the country. And because of that, we will be able also to provide food, salary to the security. Now, if you go to South Sudan, the security, police, military, you call it Wi-Fi, whatever, wildlife, we name it. A lot of these, they never got paid for more than 5 years. And now there's no strong security in place because these people who never get paid, they cannot do a proper job to protect the nation. So my job is to make sure that we're going to give them a salaries enough for them to do their job perfectly. And that would be number one. We will make sure that the South Sudanese are protected. It doesn't matter what tribe they come from. They must be seen as the South Sudanese. They must be seen as the equal citizen in the country. And we will have a training, a mindset of the security to know that a South Sudanese citizen has value and has to be respected and not to be beaten in the public as what we see today. We want to make sure that the South Sudan must be a nation that abide by law. That would be number two. South Sudan have to be respected across the country. And we will focus also by providing food, security, and also education. We're going to have also training, vacation training for those who have suffered from war and tribalism, and so that we're going to bring essential education for them. And also, lastly, we will be able to focus to return our refugees home across the East Africa and around the world to come home and know that their nation is safe and their nation is affordable, that the country that has a job and also they have a food to eat and they want to make it have education to put their children to school when they can go for education. We need to set up a good example in East Africa. If you go to Uganda today, a father and a mother pay high money to put their children in school. If you go to Kenya, you put so much money on the table before actually your son have been registered or your daughter have to be registered. If you go to Ethiopia, the same thing. So we need to turn the table around in East Africa. We need to have a free education to set up a good example in East Africa, in Africa. When the cell of Africa coming to South Sudan, they will know that South Sudan education is free, and that will send a strong message to the East Africa region that education is not a business. Education is a human right. And we want to do that and give it to the people of South Sudan that education is a human right and it must be given for free.
So also, I just you are exposed to a lot of international platform to speak, to engage. For the youth of South Sudan, how would you want the youth of South Sudan to set you accountable for your leadership if you become elected, if you become in the leadership position, if you lead?
Oh, thank you, Mary. We've been blessed to have international network, international connection, and that is a blessing, by the way. It's a privilege, and we should use that opportunity to benefit those who are in need. And those who are in need are the South Sudanese right now. We got to use our skill and the connection, God-given connection now to benefit our nation. And we need to use that connection to build the South Sudan and expose the South Sudan internationally. In the meantime, we have also responsibility to the region of Africa, particularly the East and the entire Africa continent. So we can set a good example. And also we're helping the region, we're helping the nation. This connection, not only for the South Sudanese, could be also for the region of East Africa, could be also for the continent of Africa. And importantly, it could be for the world, because our aim to make sure that the humanity should be put at the priority. It doesn't matter how you look like, as long as you are human, fellow human, you should be treated right. Not only your ethnic group in South Sudan. Now people see each other now as strangers in South Sudan because they come from different ethnic groups. Our job, we need to destroy that. We need to eliminate that, the stereotype. And we need to come in with the mindset that we are humans, we are brothers, we are Africa, and we can move forward to treat other African brothers in the continent the way that we treat one another. And we're going to go beyond and to treat the humanity that our fellow human, they need to be respected, and our fellow humans should also respect us. We're going to be in the table where we can have a voice in the United Nations, we can have a voice in the international community, we can have a voice in the world. I don't think the international community do not like Africa or do not like South Sudan. The reason why many international community are not happy with the way that we're leading our people is because we don't consider the human rights as a priority. Because the human rights abuse always is in Africa. The suffering of insecurity and war is always look in Africa. So how can we change that? We're going to change it by having a good governance system. And the good governance system comes with a strong institution. We should not actually raise a strong man. And what kills African is a strong man. The strong man that we raise in Africa, it does not move the African forward. But when you have a strong institution, let me give you a good example. What it means to have a strong institution? What it means to have a strong man? Have a strong institution. Let's use example in the United States you're living in right now. The Congress. The Congress is the strong institution in the United States. The Congress remain House of Representatives remain for generation to come. Whoever come and serve there, you leave and you go and generation come in and serve and leave. That is the strong institution. The State Department in the United States is a strong institution. It remains people serve and go. And you go to the United Kingdom, you have what's so-called House of Commons. House of Commons is a strong institution. Generation come and serve and leave, and the House of Commons remain. It's there. Turn to Africa. If you go, you don't have a strong institution in Africa. What we have in Africa, you have a strong man like Robert Mugabe. Well, Robert Mugabe led Zimbabwe for more than 40 years. What happened when he died? Everything died with him. And people of Zimbabwe need to start up from the zero again. And the same thing in Cameroon, you have a man that's been there for more than 50 years. If that man died, everything will die. That's a strong man. When Gaddafi was leading Libya, it's been there for more than 40 years. What happened when Gaddafi died? The Libya collapsed And now this insecurity until this day in Libya. So the same thing in Khartoum that we're living in. Bashir been there for 30 years. What happened when Bashir left? These are the strong men that I'm talking about. When you focus dealing with strong men, not a strong institution, the strong man, when strong men have been removed or die, everything die with him. And people need to start from zero. And that's why South Sudan, we need to build a strong institution, not a strong man like Bol Gai Deng been there for 50 years, Salva Kiir been there for 20 years. Those strong men ideology must be hand in Africa if we really need to see, we need to fit in the world, to live with the world. We want to make sure the strong institution is very important. We're going to do that. We can imitate what the United States did, what the United Kingdom did, and what the rest of the world did. We're going to do it in South Sudan.
How will this institution look like?
It will be set up. It will be set up by having a law in place, law and order. You set up institution as a leader. You set up those kind of institution. Let's say you have J1 now. You call it J1. We don't know what J1 stands for anyway. I just want to say example. Okay, is that J1 now? Is that institution? That is for everybody? No, I don't think so. So we need to build institution that will last for generation to come. And that is not happening in South Sudan right now. Let's say the member of the parliament of South Sudan. A lot of this parliament of South Sudan, they were appointed by a man. They were not elected by the people. That is not institution. The institution starts when people elect their leaders. And that is the beginning of the institution. The nation that I mentioned to you today, they were not appointed by a man. They were elected by the people. And that comes with democratic system and democratic institution. It will actually provide by building a strong institution, because it's not about me, it's not about you, it's not about them, it's about the generation to come, it's about the nation. It's about the nation can serve the generation to come. It could serve a generation for another 100 years to 200 years, and that is the institution I'm talking about. When America was set up in 1700 by people like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and many others, what they did was this. What they did, the first thing they set up is a constitution that will guide this country. And that constitution is the same constitution today we're still going by, because we've been guided by the constitution, and that constitution even one way they can be amended, but it's still there. So the question now, South Sudan have no constitution that it could be set up by the generation to follow. And that's why our leadership is going to be a democratic elect leadership that will drop a constitution by the people, and it will serve the people.
Just with all these challenges that are taking place, economic crisis, refugees, the election is coming, and it has been like delayed 5 times since 2018 after the signing of peace agreement. Do you think now is the right environment to conduct the election? And is there any concern that you can see from now?
You know, Mary, thank you so much. You absolutely right. Ask a great question. Do the environment actually free or comfortable for election? I think that it will never be a good environment for South Sudan to have election. It will never be, because as you mentioned, it was postponed for more than 5 times. Every time election has to be postponed because it was not a good environment. Let's push it for the next 2 years. And another 2 years come, or they say again, let's push it for another 2 years until it become a good environment, so that it become a sum. And the people of South Sudan are suffering, are dying, economic crisis are hitting the nation. And these the same people are singing the song, let's push election because the environment is not conducive. Are the same people doing over and over, and that is not going to help the people of South Sudan, women and children of South Sudan. It's not going to help the refugees of South Sudan. And that's why we believe that it's not going to be a good, conducive environment that South Sudan is going to have election. Not going to be a better. The only way we can get out from this crisis, with a man-made crisis, is for us to go forward and have election in this environment. And let South Sudanese rescue their own nation, people of South Sudan. Rescue their nation by electing their leader. And also, what we are asking right now, we're telling the international community that it will not be a better environment for South Sudan to have election. We've been waiting for more than, people of South Sudan have been waiting for more than 5 years. The same leaders who actually make the same excuses every time that we need a peace, we need a dialogue, we need a better environment to have election. That is a full lie. It's a deception for the citizens of women and children of South Sudan who are dying day and night. We're telling them, if you are a leader and you love these people called South Sudan, please pack up and put your shoes and let's go accept this election. And instead for you to be afraid for your life because Salva Kiir is going to kill you or maybe it's going to put you in jail, it's the time for you to put the South Sudan you claim that you lead them to go and put your life online so you can be a leader. You can be that. If they put you in jail or they kill you, you deserve it. You know why? Because you stand for these people. So my message to the warlord who are out there thinking that they love South Sudanese, they don't love South Sudanese. They don't care for South Sudan. The same leaders who are telling you, are telling the South Sudanese that election is not conducive to have election in South Sudan. The same leaders who are working with Salva Kiir, who took enough money with Salva Kiir, who broke away from Salva Kiir, now the same people who are telling they love South Sudanese. And the same leaders who never visit refugees came in Uganda. Neither even they went to Kenya. Neither they went to Ethiopia refugees. And they live in those nations. They never visit our refugees. I'm not saying the government ever visit refugees. The same government regime, the government now, they never visit refugees. The government never visit our refugees. Even they live in South internal refugees, 2,000 living in Juba. No leader ever took a trip and go there and say, we are sorry. So I believe these people who are calling for election to be postponed are not leaders. And they don't care for the people of South Sudan. And that's why I reject that idea. And that's why I believe election must be done. We are not going to have a good environment climate that election have to be conducted. This time is the right time. This time is the time of South Sudanese. So we can rescue our nation from the sanction. We can rescue our nation from this government called 650 members of parliament who were not elected. They were chosen just for them to have this big government power sharing. We have also the fair vice president. Never happened in any nation in the world who are looting the resources of our country because of that so-called fees. Fair vice president and 650 member of parliament plus the sanction. I think the people of South Sudan cannot handle another year of for election postponement. That's why election has to be done now. So we cannot postpone election anymore. Election must be done now. And I support election. And my job is to reach out to the international community and let them know, please, if you love South Sudanese, if you really want to have the people of South Sudan, please support us to have election in December 22nd, 2026.
I think last points I want to talk about, you have the South Sudan project, this nonprofit that you found, and they work in a will in education. Just the vision of your foundation. And the last thing we want to include with like the 7-year-old boy that was kidnapped and become a child soldier. Today you are becoming a leader and you plan to lead, to run for election. What would you tell yourself?
We have to be thankful. Have to be thankful and have thank God. And what we do, Mary, as much is given. There's a say that as much is given, as much is required. We've been giving so much for coming to this great nation called the United States of America in so many ways. It could be tough, but we've been brought here. And forming a non-profit organization called the Southern Sudan Project is to focus on humanitarians for the South Sudan. And I mentioned before that under that organization, I was able to send the food to South Sudan, send the humanitarian food and also the medicine. It was almost 500,000 medicine that we took to Uganda at the time, and we distributed before the independence across the East Africa. I know we went, and in Blue Nile, Mountain, Darfur, and also South Sudan. That because of that organization. So it was very, very important. And I think the reason why we did what we did, and I did what we did, is because we believe giving back to our community, like what you're doing now in DC, Mary, you're giving back to your community. So I'm not saying that I have to take credit for this. It's the credit of people of South Sudan, young men and women that feel like they've been blessed, and they're doing more to the South Sudanese. Not me alone is doing this. If you go across the Canada, some young South Sudanese who actually better portion and now are taking education back, building a school, building a health there. The same thing in Australia, the Canada, that have been platform, that have been a passion for all of us that come from a nation that was not fortunate enough. So we come to a fortunate country now. We feel that we need to give more back. So my job as a young victim that suffered and of doing a child slave, made it to the United States, is my duty to give back so our young people that who are still in that age that I was in, they got to have opportunity for education, to have a opportunity to have a nation they can call home. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. And now suddenly I decide to be a candidate. That a passion. And I feel like that passion should not be also resonate with me alone. It should be also to every South Sudan women and children to step up and say, I can do this for years to come. So we're trying to encourage our young people that you can be a leader. Anybody can be a leader because God gives you opportunity as a fellow human, and you have a reason to be in this world. And that reason, you got to use it for the benefit of the mankind and the God-given life. And what is and South Sudan need us rather more than ever before, and that's why we step up to be the voice of the voices of South Sudanese people.
I would really like to thank you so much, Mr. Bol Gai Deng, for your time, for making time for this interview. I know that you will be traveling to set some arrangement for the submit your applications for the elections and to engage with your community. So I wish you good luck, and I'm very happy that you also gave us time from the schedule to make the interview.
Absolutely, Mary. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't know how many people have been encouraging you out there, but I want to tell you, put my voice with those who actually always tell you, Mary, you're doing the right thing. I know your mother's proud of you, your dad is proud of you, your community is proud of you, and your nation is proud of you, and your continent is proud of you. I want you to know that. Take it from me, and take that very serious as a strong message. We love you, we care for you, and we love what you do all the time. And thank you. We want you to be the face of the young South Sudanese girl who want to be like Mary. There are so many out there, they want to look like you and they want to be like you. And I know you can be a role model for them.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate this important encouragement. Thank you.
God bless you, Mary. Bye-bye.
Bye.